I spent $40. And today, I am going to be building a gaming computer. Now, there should be a disclaimer. Yes, you can buy all of these parts on eBay and online, but I searched it up, and the parts that I'm using today, it adds up to around 280 Australian dollars, so that's like 180 American dollars. So it's not the greatest deal if you're buying it full, but if you want to get down and dirty like me, you can get some really good stuff. And especially on the cheap. I paid for this entire system, like $37. That is everything for the entire setup right behind me. For every single bit, because I went dumpster diving, I dug through the bins, I worked through some hardships, and I was able to find some really good stuff. Now, I said that eBay prices are like way out of whack. If you go on Facebook Marketplace, I guarantee it, you will find it cheaper than like 180 US dollars. 280. If I were to go buy it on Facebook Marketplace, I'd say for all of this stuff, maybe 150 Australian dollars at the most. I mean, it's not really amazing hardware, but it's very cheap. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that the parts you can get that I'm using in this video, you can get on the cheap, and that's why I'm using them. So yeah, if you're a savvy shopper, you can find this stuff for very cheap. I don't know how many times I've said that, but I've said it a lot. But yeah, if you're a savvy shopper, you can find this stuff for very cheap. So with that understood, let's get into it. This is a Lenovo ThinkCentre, and this is going to be serving as the base of our system. It comes with an Intel Core i5, 4460, and 8GB of RAM. I also forgot to mention that it comes with a 500GB hard drive. We are not going to be using that as our boot drive, but we are going to be using it as expandable storage. Or we'll just be using it as a storage drive. So this is the front button, right? It's not exactly a button. It's kind of just not a button. So maybe that is why it was thrown away. We've got a bunch of wires here and cables. We are going to try to utilize as much of these as we can, but let's talk about the motherboard first. This motherboard is your bog standard LJ1150 Lenovo board, I suppose. For this system, it has 8GB of RAM and a Core i5 4460. For rear I/O, we have PS2 ports, a weirdo port, we have those ports, okay? Yep, they're ports, yep, wow. Another good thing on this board is we have a PCIe lane, so we can plug in a powerful graphics card. But one bad thing about it, do you see this here? This is not a 24-pin power supply connector. But we have a fix to that. I went on eBay and I bought this power adapter, which adapts a 24-pin power supply into the 14 Lenovo power supply. So hopefully we don't have any problems powering this board. Now I would be thinking that yes, an i5 4460 is a perfectly usable CPU. It's a quad-core, 4 threads. It's fine, it'll do fine in this modern age, but I was lucky enough to find another computer. This is a Intel Xeon E3-1240 V3. This is a quad-core 8-thread CPU that runs at 3.4 GHz. It also turbos up to 3.8, so this thing is going to be insanely powerful. Now, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to work on this Lenovo board. I did go on Lenovo's website, and have a look, I wasn't able to find something that clearly stated that this will run, but I did see a few Xeons be able to run on this board, so we'll have to see if it works. If it doesn't, I'll throw the i5 back in, because this was free anyway. Oh yeah. I was just thinking to myself, I could use the Lenovo heatsink, but it seems pretty pathetic. Now that that is done, let's prepare our case for this beast of a computer. Now this is an computer case. It's the case that the Xeon came out of. I actually didn't... yeah, let's get into it. Now this... that wasn't good. I think we're fine. We are going to be using an Antec 600 watt power supply. I got this for free. It was up for $25 and it was just some market day. I was like, oh yeah, I'll come around now. And they were like, no, you can have it. So I got this for free. There is no vents coming out of that, so we'll go old school, right? So the air will come through here, come up, out of the exhaust fan, and also into and out of the power supply. So it's not the best way to do it, but it's definitely a way to do it. So right now I'm searching up the pinout for the front panel connectors. Now this case has USB 3.0, but this motherboard doesn't have any USB 3.0 headers. So I'm probably just going to block off the USB 3.0 USBs up here, or I've got a bit of a ghetto idea. I will take the Lenovo USB 2.0 headers. I will build kind of like a bracket out of plastic or something, and then I will basically stick it into the floppy drive slot and have a USB. I think I'll do that just because it's interesting. Oh, well, whatever, it's fine. It doesn't, I didn't push it for... You know what? Yeah, see, it looks stuck, it's fine. I mean, look at it, you can't even tell the difference. I mean, it's uncanny. This is the greatest idea I've ever come up with. Now, I've done videos on it before. This is my GTX 570. For the CPU, I believe it'll be like about the same as my CPU and my main system, an i3-10105F. But I mean, this is just what I had on hand. It'll play games fine at like low, medium settings, 1080, hopefully 720. But I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with it. If it works, and that's all that matters. Now, if you were building this computer yourself, you could get something like way more powerful for the price, I'm sure of it. But yeah, if you just do some digging, do some bargain hunting, you will be rewarded for your work. Yeah, it's not the greatest thing to cable manage in, but it'll do. You're not gonna. It's not a clear side panel, so you won't even be able to tell what's inside. But with that, I believe it's time to see if it turns on. This is a monitor that I picked up at a garage sale for $5. The keyboard and mouse I just found, so yeah, free, let's go, except for the monitor. But yeah, let's turn this thing on and see what happens. Okay, it's hooked up to power, I believe. Okay, the monitor's on, that's good. Let's swap this around because I'm right-handed, I forgot. So wait, it's not turned on at the back. Okay, it's turning on by itself, that's fine, I hope. Lenovo, okay, that's good. Any errors? Remove disk from, okay. I believe there's a disk in this CD drive. Yeah. Okay, remove disk or other media. Press any key to restart. Okay. We're booting into Windows. I don't know which drive we're on because it's got the hard drive and the SSD. Both have Windows installed, but it's working, and we had no errors except for the disk. But that's fine. Wait, it works. Wait, I'm just realizing that. Oh my god. The Xeon works. Okay, that's great. We've got 4 cores and 8 threads at 3.4/3.8 gigahertz. Wow. Okay, I definitely think that this is the hard drive. Let's change it to the SSD. Wait, will the button work? Yep, the button works! Oh my god. I hope to Jesus that it's stable. Computron. There we go. We don't have drivers. That's interesting, but Genshin Impact? No, wait, that didn't install. Okay, this is good. Let's install some drivers. So, Windows installed its own drivers. I'm going to get the newest drivers possible, but let's just see if everything is connected. CPU, Intel Xeon E3 1240 V3. That's good. 4-core, 8-thread. Can I change from to... There we go, 8. That's good. Memory, 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's low, but it's actually the most that I have. I do have... If this motherboard had 4 slots, then I would kit it out with 16, but 8 gigabytes is fine. And GTX 570, nice. I mean, here we are running the Heaven benchmark. It isn't exactly the most powerful. And now it's time to see how this thing performs at games. Here we are running CS2 at medium settings at 1080p. For some reason, MSI Afterburner isn't working, so for this test I'm going to have to run Fraps. CSGO, sadly, MSI Afterburner and Fraps didn't work, so I had to eyeball it. There was a tiny bit of tearing, but if I turned on VSync, I'm sure that would have fixed it. But it was running pretty good. It was a bot round, so it was testing out the CPU and it was testing out the CPU and technically the RAM, I suppose. But yeah, it was running really good. Now we are running Team Fortress 2. We are running at 1080p at high settings. for Team Fortress 2, we were getting around 160, 170 FPS on average, with a FPS max at 400, which I believe was in the menu. Yeah, the GPU and CPU were pinged around 60% at the most. They're pretty... Okay, you could go for a more powerful graphics card to match the power of the Xeon, but in this game they're pretty well matched. We will now be trying BeamNG Drive. This game should run well. I have played it before on the GTX 570. But with this slightly worse CPU, it'll be interesting how it performs.
Let's go.
Given the fact that I was on a bit of a time crunch, the average FPS isn't actually accurate. I would say that it was more like 60 FPS on average. It was really smooth and I felt nearly no stutters at all. So yeah, if you want to have a bit of car destruction, BeamNG Drive will work very well. If you would like to VR and chat, it runs very well at around 60 FPS again. This is really good. 1080p, whatever settings VR chat is, I don't know. It's hard to change settings on VR chat, but this is running good. And now, hours later, it finally installed Fortnite. For whatever reason, it was over 100 gigabytes. But now, we're ready for the big kahuna, the true test of performance. Here we go, let's launch it. So we will be playing Fortnite at 1080p, about what I'd say is medium settings and epic view distance. It should be better than an Xbox, the graphical quality, I believe. But yeah, we'll see how it runs. We'll be able to tone down the settings a bit if it runs horribly, but I think this computer's gonna do fine. I mean, it's only Fortnite. Okay, let's change the settings down a bit. Now we are running Fortnite at basically auto set settings, which is basically low, and then epic view distance. Fortnite, after adjusting the settings more, we got an average of around 54 FPS, and it was running pretty good. The GPU was a bit of a bottleneck, but I mean, for 50 to 60 FPS gaming, I'm sure you could adjust the levels of I'm sure you could adjust the settings a bit more to hit that 60 FPS target, but that ran pretty good. So that was the $40 plus scavenged parts computer. Yeah, so yeah, realistically, it'll cost more than $40. It runs games. It performed well. I'm actually surprised how bad it performed at Fortnite. When I played it before, it was getting 120 FPS easy. They must have updated the game, and now it just runs worse. I mean, yes, you could lock it to 30 FPS, get that smooth experience, or you could adjust the settings and that'll make it easier on it. But yeah. So that was the scavenged PC plus $40 in parts. For upgrade paths, if you were to upgrade this computer, you can't really upgrade the CPU. I'm pretty sure that for LGA 1150, the max CPU you can get is a 4-core with 8 threads. You could go for more RAM, 16 gigs would be nice, 32 would be insane. A graphics card. A graphics card would be a good upgrade, like probably the R9 390 in my main PC. But there isn't really much else you can do to this. I mean, proper front I/O would be nice. Well, it's a 1080p monitor, it's good. So yeah, for this entire setup, I think I did pretty good for $37. Yeah, so if you liked that video, make sure to like, and if you didn't like it, make sure to dislike. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I just said that, but thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.